Hey guys, welcome to the Quiet Outdoors again. I just want to do a quick video on the economics of reloading in today's modern day and age. Because I was sitting here thinking about it. It's like, hey, how many rounds do I need to shoot in order to afford to buy a new press that's progressive and let me reload more things faster? So all I have right now is the Hornady Lock and Load single stage press, which is a fantastic press, works great for me. But man, trying to reload quantities lately it takes time. It's a little bit tedious. So I'm like, okay, let me go look at one of those Dillon 550s. Like, they're pretty nice, progressive. They're not anything too crazy. Base price is only like 625 bucks. Doesn't seem that bad. I went to go looking at the options and all that. I'm like, all right, I'm probably looking more like for the 550 press. That's probably going to cost somewhere more like 1400, 1500. We'll call it 1500. And that's to get all the bits and pieces and accessories and everything that you could ever possibly want with it, at least for bulk loading. 9mm is what I was looking at. So I'm really trying to get back into some better shooting shape, and boy, 9mm is kind of expensive. So I was like, all right, let's just say it costs $1,500 to get everything I want on this progressive press, which would allow me to reload 9mm quickly. Right? I think they advertise somewhere around like 500 rounds an hour doing this, so I'm like, okay, it seems not too bad, especially compared to what I'm doing right now. It takes me forever to load that much. So, all right, that's a lot of money for a press. How many rounds do I need to reload in order to make that worth it? And this is just some modern day prices I found. I found the cheapest brass case ammo I could find was about 21 cents per round, and that was a Remington 115 grain FMJs, full metal jackets. So that was the cheapest factory, brand new. I didn't go for reloaded. I went brand new, brass cased, cheapest factory ammo I could find. And the key is here, this is brass cased. All right. Now, how expensive is it? And this was one thing to note. This was buying 1,000 rounds at a time. So that was a bulk deal. Yeah, I know how to spell. So bulk deal, 1,000 rounds at a time. All right. There we go. All right. Here's where it gets kind of fun. I looked into a whole bunch of stuff. I found primers. I believe they were several different brands. Winchester, like the good primers. Winchester, Remington, some other brands of primers. I found those for about 5 cents per round. Powder, I picked Tight Group. I think that is a Hadojin, I believe is how you say it, product. And an 8-pound can of that is about $305. You need about 4 grains per bullet. There's about 7,000 grains per pound. And all the math works out to be an 8-pound container gets you about 14,000 rounds. And when you do all that, you're essentially putting in about 2 cents of powder per round, roughly. Let's see, bullets. I found, what did I find? Armscore, bulk 2,000 rounds. I believe it was just full metal jacket, round nose. Really just pretty basic plinking ammo. I found that, and if you buy 2,000 rounds at a time, it comes out to be 7 cents per bullet. Brass. This was kind of cool. I didn't even know you could do this, but you can actually go to, it's called Blue Ridge Brass. It's a website. Go there. You can actually buy once fired, dirty, once fired, sorted, still has a primer in it, brass, and 1,000 cases of that is only $50. It's not bad. And I'm going to estimate you can still get about 10 more firings out of that brass. So I'm going to say that your brass cost is about half of a cent per round. All right. So all this to be said, and actually, Yeah, that's close enough. So all this to be said, you're looking at roughly 15 cents a round. So it's roughly, okay? So obviously this is total. So you're saving about 6 cents a round. That is your total savings when you are bulk loading 9mm. You save about 6 cents a round from the cheapest that I can find, and it's on sale right now this moment as of when I've filmed this, 21 cents per round. So this is all relatively not on sale items. These are all pretty true prices, but you're buying it all in bulk. This is a current sale price on bulk ammo. I'm treating that as just your market low that you can find if you're a careful buyer. So I'm saying that, and actually, let me do the math really quick. There's my cursor. See, I did all this earlier, and now my little keyboard doesn't want to wake up. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I may or may not edit this out. Anyway, so saving 6 cents per round in order to essentially end up with $1,500 worth of savings in order to buy your press, you need to shoot 25,000 rounds. Now that is 9mm. Oh, let me scroll this up a little bit. Now that is shooting 9mm. Wow, I didn't realize how far down I got. So shooting 9mm, you need to shoot about 25,000 rounds in order to actually justify spending $1,500 on your new Dillon Progressive Press. So that's 9mm pistol. Now that's one of the two things I shoot. I also shoot some more precision rifle type stuff. And so if you're doing more precision rifle type stuff, I happen to own a 6.5 Creedmoor, which lots of people love to hate that round. But a 20 round box of that, of Hornady 147 grain ELD-M match bullets, factory loaded from Hornady, I'm spending about $40, which means that I'm about $2 per bullet, roughly. Okay, and depends on exactly where you get it. You get it on sale, bulk online, you can get a little cheaper. At the store, it's a little more expensive. But you need it's about $2 per round for me to shoot a decent match bullet out of my 6.5 Creedmoor. And this actually is very similar to also my hunting loads. But I figured match sounds fancier, so we were going to run with that. So primers for the federal gold medal match primers, which are recognized to be some very, very good primers, they cost about 12 cents per. Powder, doing 4360, I think is what the powder I've been using. Buy it in a 1 pound can, use about 39 grains per round. It's at $64 per pound roughly. You get 180 rounds per pound roughly. So I'm essentially shooting about 36 cents worth of powder out of every round. Then you're looking at the bullets, actually the exact same bullet, 147 grain ELD-Ms, extremely low drag match. Those are about 4 cents per round. I'm sorry, 40 cents per round. So that's about what you're paying for the bullets. Then the brass, you're paying brand new Lapula brass is $1.35 per piece when you buy 100 at a time. I'm going to assume you get 10 shots out of them, which seems to be about right based off my research. You can get about 10 reloadings out of a piece of brass with the Lapula. Maybe a little more. Depends on how hot you're running them. But that's running out to be about 13 cents, roughly, per round in brass costs. And so your total is about $1. It's about $1 and like 1 cent. So you're paying $1 essentially per round of high-end match ammunition. And this is about the same for hunting rounds as well. And actually, your bullet prices will probably go down a little bit when you go for a hunting round. So you do all that, you're at about $1 per, which means that in order to afford your $1,500 Dillon press, you only need about 3,000 rounds shot, which seems a lot more reasonable than 25,000 rounds. But obviously recognizing that it's a much lower volume sport, precision shooting. But I am actually looking at going to a long range school here in a few months. I hope I get to go to it. And they want you to bring a minimum of 200 rounds of ammunition. I plan on bringing about 400 rounds. And that's going to be one day of shooting. Right, so if I bring 400 rounds of ammunition with me, let's see, then I would only need to do, of course, I'm not good at mental math anymore. I would only need to do about 7 or 8 classes. Well, we'll call it 8 classes. Because that's, I would only need to go and do 8 of those classes or 8 of those types of range sessions in order for me to actually shoot somewhere around that many rounds. Now, that being said, that's getting pretty close to burning out my barrel, probably on a 6.5 Creedmoor. That's a lot of rounds. But it's just interesting to me to think about it in terms of how many rounds you have to shoot in order to afford the equipment to do it. So somewhere in between 9mm and also precision ammunition, and also reloading for friends, doing hunting rounds for other people, things of that nature. I feel like it does pay for itself eventually. But just kind of thought it was interesting. I was sitting down thinking about it, doing the math on my own because I was curious. I was really starting to realize, man, like reloading components are not what they used to be. They're not quite as cheap as it used to be. And how economical is it actually in this day and age? Well, if you're trying to buy a really expensive press, you need to shoot a lot to make it worth it. Even shooting match grade ammo out of your rifle, yeah, you're still looking at a lot of rounds down your barrel to make it really worth it. Now, that being said, this is purely economics. The real reason I got into reloading, because I've never been that high volume of a shooter. I really got into it for precision on my rifle, because I do get better results with my hand-loaded ammunition. That's just a fact. Every rifle I've hand-loaded for, I've been able to get better results than any factory load I've ever put through them. So, ultimately, that's why I got into reloading, was the precision. But I thought this was interesting just looking at the economics, because I was thinking about doing some more high-volume shooting and getting a more high-volume press to handle that. And now I'm not so sure. So, thought maybe you'd find that interesting. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys outside.